guys, it's Stock Curry, and I'm gonna get straight into the stock picks today. I was up really late last night, had some technical issues with yesterday's video, so hopefully things go a little bit better today. Real quick, I just want to talk about our high growth stocks. I know a lot of you guys have been investing really heavily into high growth stocks. I have a high growth portfolio, which is on Webull that I've shown you guys, but it's not like a major part of my account. I really recommend high growth stocks for a smaller portion. You should be well diversified. But anyway, I just want to talk about those specifically real fast. Yesterday, I had kind of talked about the possibility of high growth stocks going down a little bit or being stagnant a little bit. And I just want to go into a little bit more detail on that because we actually saw this today. And I just want to explain what happened Monday and kind of explain what we might see over the next couple of weeks and months ahead. So what's happening right now is the inflation numbers in the United States, they're coming in that they might be a lot higher than people originally thought. So what that's doing is in the United States, in order to keep inflation down so we don't end up in one of these hyperinflation situations, the U.S. government is going to raise interest rates. It's one of the tools that they do to kind of keep inflation down. And so when they raise interest rates, what that's going to do is it's going to make it more expensive for companies to take out loans because they're going to end up paying a higher interest rate. So it gets more expensive. And ultimately what it does is it limits growth. So who does this hurt the most? Well, it hurts high growth stocks that take out a lot of debt. The more debt a company has or the more debt a company might need to get, the more it's going to get hurt by higher interest rates. And so it ends up hurting high growth stocks at an exponential basis. So what I kind of talked about yesterday and what you actually saw me do today, if you go follow me on Facebook and Twitter, I actually post every single stock that I buy and sell. I have links to my Facebook and Twitter in the description of this video. Just check in the description. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter, get all of my buys and sells free of charge. I don't make you pay for a Patreon or anything. It's just completely and totally free. So what I did today is I sold a couple of my low conviction high growth stocks, and I ended up buying some energy stocks as well as I've got another order in for some more C, which is Citibank. Actually, I don't actually own Citibank yet. I've got Morgan Stanley. I think I got Goldman Sachs, and I'm adding C, Citigroup. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of moving more into like banking and energy, things that I feel like might do well during a higher interest rates, higher inflation. So that's what I'm doing. It's kind of where I'm putting my money right now, kind of moving it out of high growth stocks a little bit. Now, I want to be very clear. I am holding on to my high conviction, high growth stock plays. I'm not selling those. I'm holding on to NFLX, I'm holding on to NNDM, I'm holding on to SENS, I'm holding on to CCIV, and a few others. So I would say that if you have high conviction on your plays, I wouldn't sell because you never know when those are going to turn around and start going back up. If you have low conviction, then sell and move your money into something that has, I'd say, a better chance of going up. Now, how long do I see this happening? Well, keep in mind that the stock market is forward thinking. It's typically forward thinking by about 6 months on average. So my guess is probably about another 3 months of stagnation or a little bit of drop on high growth stocks before we start seeing them go back up. Maybe, I don't know, September, October-ish, they might start going back up. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point. It's way too early to tell. But that's just my thoughts. Ultimately, it's all going to depend upon what the Fed does, what the U.S. Congress does, what Biden does, and what happens with interest rates. And basically what it's going to boil down to is what is our government going to do in order to keep inflation down? Now, interest rates are just one of many tools that they have in their toolbox, but it's definitely the one that will hurt high growth stocks the most. So I just want to throw that out there for you guys. Be thinking about that. I know a lot of YouTubers talk about high growth stocks. Obviously on this channel, since I cover the top 10 YouTubers, we talk a lot about high growth stocks, but YouTubers are really starting to shift, and they're starting to get a better focus on better diversification. So that's what I have for you in today's video. Also, is the traveling trader mentioned quite a few different good stocks that might do well for long-term growth, and so we're going to be talking about those today. And so without further ado, let's get into today's stock picks. For those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Stock Curry. I used to work as an analyst for some large investment banks, and now I analyze stock picks from the top 10 YouTubers. I then compile all of my analysis into a daily video that I post right here on this channel. I give you both the cliff notes from the top 10 YouTubers as well as my analysis on their stock picks. If any stock I talk about today piques your interest, make sure to listen to who I say talked about that stock and then go watch their video to get the full details on what they said. Now, all I ask in return for putting all of this together for you is that you hit that like button, subscribe, click the bell icon, and then click all so that you can get notified when I release my next video. In fact, I'll give you 5 seconds to do that right now. Alright, before we get into today's stock picks, I just want to remind everyone that I am not a financial advisor and none of the YouTubers I follow are financial advisors either. Today's video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who are wondering, you are currently looking at the Webull desktop app. Webull is the app that I use for my trading, and it is also the app that I use in all of my videos. If you'd like to get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850, you can sign up for Webull using my link in the description below, and you'll get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850 when you sign up using my link and deposit just $100. Alright, let's get into today's stock picks. First up is Bitcoin. StockMo has been saying for a long time that ETH would beat out BTC in the long run. And in the past 6 months, BTC is up over 300%, while ETH is up over 600%. Regarding BTC specifically, StockMo gave a $250,000 5-year price target. Next up is ETH, Ethereum. StockMo thinks ETH will be the crypto leader. He is putting 75% of his entire crypto portfolio into ETH. StockMo had previously given a 5-year $9,000 price target on ETH. But today, he said he wouldn't be surprised if ETH reaches that level in the next 12 to 24 months. The reason StockMo gave is because ETH is doing twice the number of transactions as BTC, and yet it's only valued at a fraction of what BTC is valued at. Now, StockMo does not think that the bull run for ETH will be over until ETH gets near 5 figures. Personally, I think this is more of a speculative bubble that will end with a crash sometime this year or next year, but who knows. It might hit $9,000 this year before it crashes. I've seen crazier things happen. In the short term, I am still waiting for a pullback in ETH before buying in. ETH is up 55% in the last 9 days. That kind of run-up is completely unsustainable. And I do think that I will be able to buy ETH for around $2,000 at some point in May. But that might be the bottom. StockMo does not think ETH will ever get down to $1,000 again, and he's probably right. Next up is Dogecoin. DOGE hit StockMo's price target of 40 cents. That was also my price target, and I sold my short-term investment in DOGE on Monday. I'm still holding my long-term DOGE with a $1 long-term price target. StockMo also gave a $1 5-year price target. Personally though, I think DOGE will jump to $1 much sooner than 5 years from now. Also, Larry Jones reminded us that Elon Musk will be hosting Saturday Night Live on May 8th, and a lot of people think it's going to pump Dogecoin. As a result, Larry Jones is buying the hype and selling the news. Larry Jones plans to sell DOGE on Friday, May 7th. I like that idea also if you are investing short-term on DOGE. Keenan Grace also said that the run on DOGE is not done. Mark Cuban came out today and said that DOGE might become a usable currency just like any other crypto, and a fact that is already happening with a number of sports teams, car dealers, and snack food manufacturers accepting DOGE for payment. Next up is AMD. This is Advanced Micro Devices, better known as AMD. The traveling trader likes AMD because it just dipped below $80, and he thinks semiconductor stocks will continue to get beat up until there is some clarity regarding the chip shortage. The traveling trader said AMD is a great, low-risk, long-term hold stock. I will let you know that AMD has a history of running flat for a while and then suddenly skyrocketing upward. Also, it rarely drops below the 200-day EMA, and when it does, it quickly recovers. Right now, AMD is below the 200-day EMA, so it is very, very cheap. I will be rebalancing my long-term portfolio a little bit on Tuesday and adding AMD. Next up is CCIV. This is a SPAC and they're merging with Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is an American EV company and a competitor to Tesla. The merger is supposed to happen sometime between May and June of this year. Larry Jones said he is not selling any CCIV despite the new class action lawsuit. Larry Jones said CCIV is a long-term hold for him. He's going to hold through all of the ups and downs. Larry Jones and Keenan Grace both said these dips are buying opportunities. Like large institutions, Larry Jones has been buying CCIV every time it drops below $20. I will remind you that $20 is the nominal value based upon the valuation when the merger was announced. So any price below $20 is a great price to buy CCIV at. Next up is ENPH. This is Enphase Energy. They are a clean energy company focused on home solar energy solutions. The traveling trader said ENPH is expected to grow revenues by 600% over the next 2 years. They crushed their last earnings, but guidance was weak because ENPH's system relies upon semiconductor chips, and there is, of course, a semiconductor chip shortage right now. The stock is currently trading near the 200-day EMA, and the traveling trader said this is a low-risk entry for a long-term hold, and I agree. The traveling trader said he is not setting a stop limit because this is a long-term hold for him. By the way, a lot of you guys have asked me if you should set a stop loss on your long-term holds, and in most cases the answer is no. The only time you might want to set a stop loss is if you have a certain percentage below your buying price that you're not willing to lose, and you want to set your stop loss to limit your losses. Next up is F. This is Ford. The traveling trader likes F for the exact same reason that he likes TM. This is a momentum play and F is very close to its trend line. Make sure you listen to what I say about TM because the same analysis applies to F. The traveling trader recommends a stop loss of $10.60 on F, but I would set it a little bit higher than that at $10.90. Next up is GM. This is General Motors. They're an American vehicle manufacturer getting into EVs. The traveling trader said GM is a little bit too expensive for him right now. As a long-term hold, I continue to love GM. However, as a short-term trade, GM is definitely a buy the hype, sell the new stock. What is the hype? GM reporting earnings on Wednesday. So if GM is a short-term trade for you, you may want to consider selling on Tuesday as it appears many stocks are dropping in price post-earnings even after the company reports good earnings. As a long-term hold, however, we really don't care what a stock price does from day to day or even week to week, so I will just continue holding. Next up is HOL. This is a SPAC and they're merging with Astra. Astra is an orbital space launch company. Dead Inside compared Astra, currently under SPAC symbol HOL, to Rocket Lab, currently under SPAC symbol VACQ. The biggest thing Dead Inside focused on was the fact that NASA chose Astra over Rocket Lab for their satellite launches. One of the reasons NASA gave was that HOL has the lowest price of the three bids from HOL, SpaceX, and VACQ. NASA acknowledged that Rocket Lab had the best technology of the three bids, but felt that the lower price from HOL outweighed the technology advantage from VACQ. Dead Inside also mentioned Astra's launch pads and their team as superior to Rocket Lab. If you would like to know more about HOL, I recommend you go watch Dead Inside's video that he uploaded Monday. Technically, there's not a lot to talk about. HOL is a SPAC with a $10 floor. The price should remain near $10 until the merger is complete or the negativity towards SPACs dies down. Next up is NFLX. This is Netflix. The traveling trader said NFLX is a low-risk opportunity at its current price. Technically, I like how NFLX has strong support at the 200-day EMA. The stock is also turning bullish with the RSI rising and the MACD histogram rising as well. It really looks like NFLX has bottomed out and is starting to go back up. Next up is NIO. This is NIO and they're a Chinese EV manufacturer. Chris Saint gave a buy under price of $40 and an ideal buying price of $35. I agree with both of those numbers. And just to let you know, if NIO drops back down to $35 again, I plan to buy a leap call option on NIO. Next up is PINS. This is Pinterest. The traveling trader likes the fact that PINS has dropped so much from its highs. He is waiting to see if PINS finds support at the 200-day EMA. If not, he will be looking for PINS to drop down to the 300-day EMA. Now, PINS is an interesting stock. because most stocks bounce off of the 200-day EMA, but PINS has actually dropped much lower than the 200-day EMA on multiple occasions. So the 300-day EMA, which is the purple line on my chart, is a real possibility with PINS. The traveling trader said that if PINS finds support at the 200-day EMA, he will start dollar cost averaging in at that point. Otherwise, he is looking to buy PINS for around $50. Next up is RUN. This is Sunrun. They are a solar renewable energy company. The traveling trader likes RUN because it is currently trading below the 300-day EMA, and this company should perform well under Biden's infrastructure plan. The reason RUN is trading so low is because it has a somewhat high short interest at just over 20%. So RUN could experience a small short squeeze if earnings are good. RUN reports earnings on Wednesday after the market close. The exact same analysis also applies to SPWR. Next up is SOXL. This is a 3 times leveraged semiconductor ETF. The traveling trader said anytime SOXL drops below $30, it is a good buy. I completely agree. The last time I traded SOXL, I made about a 35% profit on it. I bought SOXL at the beginning of March during the lows, and then I sold it on April 8th, when it was around $43. If SOXL drops back down to the 200-day EMA or slightly above $30, that would be the ideal buy-in price. The traveling trader really favors selling a cash-secured put, and I really like that idea if you have the money to do it. Next up is TM. This is Toyota. The traveling trader said Toyota is an EV play whether you like it or not. And if we turn off the EMAs here, you can see the long-standing trend line going all the way back to August of last year. TM is right at the bottom of its trend line. In the world of swing trading, this is known as a technical momentum play. What you want to do is buy TM now and then sell when it reaches the top of its channel. Yes, TM might go above the channel, but you will want to lock in profits and not get greedy. Now historically, TM takes 1 to 2 weeks to reach the top of the channel. The top of the channel will probably be somewhere around $161 when TM reaches it. The traveling trader agrees that you should take profits once TM gets above $160. Now if you decide to play TM, make sure you set a stop loss in case TM decides to go down. The traveling trader recommends a stop loss of $147, but I actually think $149 would be better. Next up is TWTR. This is Twitter. The traveling trader said TWTR is a buy with it bouncing off of the 200-day EMA. I will warn you that TWTR has a very similar chart to PINS and that it has consistently dropped below the 200-day EMA in the past. And the two charts are almost identical to each other if you look at the 5-year charts. That said, the traveling trader likes TWTR at around $55. Finally, we have VWAGY. This is Volkswagen. This may be a traditional auto manufacturer, but many analysts think VW will be the #1 EV manufacturer in the world in as little as 5 years. The traveling trader likes VWAGY at the 50-day moving average and gave a $29.40 stop loss price. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it. If you're a new trader and you're not really sure when to buy and sell, you're just kind of picking stocks because YouTubers mention them, you're not really sure what you're doing, you're just kind of throwing some money around hoping it works out, I highly recommend that you take a trading course so that you can learn how to profitably and successfully trade stocks. The best trading course that I have found for new traders is Zip Trader U. I actually believe in it so much that I reached out to Zip Trader to get you a discount on the course. So if you look down in the description of this video, I have instructions on how you can get 15% off Zip Trader U. By the way, like I said, it is the best course for new traders that I found. It teaches you how to read charts, how to know when to buy, how to know when to sell, how to find stocks, all that stuff. So go check it out. I have a link in the description below as well as instructions on how to get 15% off Zip Trader U. It's a special deal I worked out just for you. Also, if you want to get some free stocks, you can sign up for Webull using my link in the description below. When you sign up and deposit just $100, Webull's going to send you 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850. Again, you got to use my link in the description below to get that offer. Finally, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon if you haven't already. I hope you have a lot of success trading, and I will see you tomorrow.